Welcome to Ocean County Focus. I'm Donna Flynn, your host. Joining me today is Ocean County Commissioner Virginia Haines, and she serves as chairwoman of the Ocean County Department of Parks and Recreation, one of the largest parks departments in the state of New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining us today, Commissioner. It's always good to have you here. This is a very exciting time, although it's always exciting with the Parks Department.
I was just going to say it's always exciting.
Right, but there's a lot of new things on the horizon coming up for a number of Ocean County parks. And one of the first things I wanted to talk to you about are some of the new inclusive playgrounds that Ocean County is looking to place in several of its parks. Can you tell me a little bit about how that will work?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to be doing because number one, as you stated, we are the largest park system. So with that being said, being the largest park system and how Ocean County is growing, we're seeing that we need to, we always look to see what needs to be done in our parks to improve it. Well, right now we do realize that we need to improve our parks, especially the playground equipment. And because of the ARP money, the American Rescue Plan money in it, because they have specific guidelines of what we can do, it's going to allow us to get some of the money to be able to improve our playgrounds for individuals that have issues, that they are able to, they have challenges on certain pieces of playground equipment. So what we're going to do, there's 5 different parks that we're going to be improving those playgrounds, and it's going to be because our parks are getting busier and busier and busier. And I'm getting emails all the time saying, are you going to be getting any new equipment? Are you going to be expanding the equipment? What are you going to do? So I mean, it's happy to hear it. And fortunately, we're going to be having the money to do it. But yes, but I mean, some of the parks is going to be Tip Seaman Park, which is in Tuckerton. Freedom Fields, which is in Little Lake Harbor. Lake Shenandoah, Ocean County Park, which is across the way from Ocean County Park in Lakewood, and Beaver Dam Park in Point Pleasant. And then Enos County Park, which is there off of Lacey Road in Forked River.
Right, and it's an interesting group of parks because Enos actually came. That discussion started a while ago when grants became available from the state to be able to do this. So you're actually using some, I believe, grant money for Enos. And the other 4 parks, there's a $3 million appropriation from what's called the ARPA funds. So that makes a big difference. I mean, I think it's great that again, there's a difference between being all-inclusive and the Americans with Disabilities Act. All your parks are ADA, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So that makes it, so that everybody can try to, to use the equipment and stuff that's there. But these parks are actually going to be, they'll be able to do stuff with wheelchair.
Exactly.
With
that's
children,
what we're trying to do.
Right, the children that have to rely on.
Exactly, because, it's not that anyone was purposely left out. That was never,
of course not.
The purpose of any of our parks with everything. But we're realizing, and the equipment is out there enabling us to do it.
Right.
Because they didn't always have this equipment maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Now they allow it. So now that we are getting, with ARP money and then other grant money, that we're going to be able to do this so that all children will be able to go. I mean, like I can remember, I was young and you had the swings and you had a seesaw. And then maybe you had a slide.
Right.
That was, in a sense, yet seesaws they can't do because that really was dangerous even when I was growing up.
So were the slides.
Because you never knew what kids were going to do to you. But at least they have such a much more variety of different types of playground equipment that is much more interactive, for them to do. And of course, it's going to be for everybody. And that's what's really important.
And also, if you're providing this for children, does it provide benefits for parents and grandparents also?
Of course. Because if someone has a child that isn't able to go on a specific piece of equipment, they feel bad for the child, but now they're going to see it, and they want to see their child being able to go onto to play on the playgrounds just like everyone else.
Sure.
And this is what we're trying to do, and we're just very grateful for the money we're getting, and grateful for the playground equipment companies that they are producing these types of playground equipment that we can put it out there for. As I said, our parks are just busy all the time, and it's it takes time and it takes money, and of course the process is long, but it is going to be done.
Right. Do we any idea of a timeline for these? Any, I'm sure that, I know that the funding was really just appropriated not all that long ago.
Exactly. It was just, so of course, by the time we bid out,
Right.
it has to be bid, and
Right.
then by the time the bids come back, and then they award the contract, and then they order the equipment. I mean, it could be,
About a year
a
or
year.
so. Yeah.
I hate to say it,
Yeah.
because I always, when everybody gives me an idea, they're going to do something, and this is a great idea for us to do it, I say, okay, let's start. Well, that starting date might be a month or two.
Right,
And then by
right.
the time you finish
Well,
that
you have
process,
to meet all the regulations. You have to meet
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
there's a-
requirements, and there's everything that
there's
needs
a
to go with
tremendous
that.
amount of
so,
regulations
sure.
that we have to follow,
Sure.
especially with the bids and the bid specs. Writing the bid specs alone takes time. And then doing the bid, that could be out there for a couple of months.
Sure.
And then after that is done, then you wait for the bids to come back, which could be a month or so.
Right.
And then after that, then it's just awarding it. After the committee reviews everything to make sure that whoever submitted their bid, that they're putting in, that it followed the bid specs 100%.
Right, right.
And then by the time we do that, and then we award it, and then they can order the equipment. So it is a very long process, but it's in the end, it's going to be so worthwhile for the children of Ocean County or the people that are visiting.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. I mean,
Yes.
again, we're coming off the summer months now, and this is what's really called festival season. But another area of our that falls under the Parks Department is you have two very successful golf courses.
Oh, yes, we do.
And I'm assuming that there's probably work that needs to be done on them, but can you actually do it based on the amount of play that you're getting?
Well, in fact, I just was at a meeting recently, and we were talking about that. And because Atlantis Golf Course in Little Lake Harbor and Forge Pond and Brick, we are setting record numbers of people playing. I mean, it's just unbelievable. We're very happy with it.
Sure.
But because of that, it is not enabling us to get work done
Right.
as quickly as we should be able to get it done, because people want to play golf. But I just met the other day with the parks director and deputy director to go over the program. All right, what is the layout that we need to do? For
Right.
the improvements that we need to do at Forge Pond and Atlantis? When can we start it? When we're able to do it? Some things we can start
Right.
because it does slow down a little bit late fall, early
Right.
winter, depending on how the weather is. There's certain things they're going to be able to do. Again, it's awarding contracts, and it's the bid
Right.
specs and everything else that needs
Right.
to be done. But there is a plan that's out there, and then of course then there's another plan that we're going to be doing a separate thing for our golf courses.
Okay.
With irrigation
Right.
and things like that. But there's very long range 5-year plan that we have out there that we're going to be doing.
Right. Those are all exciting projects, but I mean, it's also great that people do have the ability to tap into these golf courses relatively inexpensively.
Exactly.
And now I guess it's really based on weather too. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, but when I just read the reports the other day, I think they only closed one day for rain, I think, this summer.
Wow,
I think that
that's
was
great.
Atlantis. I said maybe. I think it was Atlantis. It
Right,
was,
right.
For one day. So, of course, you're talking 7 days a week.
And it's interesting because I think there was a concern for a while that golfing seemed to have lost a
No.
little bit of its popularity, but clearly people are back out there.
I would say since COVID, we have been like COVID hit, and then people started golfing because it was an outdoor.
Right.
They could go outside.
Right.
And then there was restrictions on how they could sit in a cart, how many in a cart, what could be done. We followed those, and then every day it was getting busier and busier. So from the first year of COVID to the next year, increased tremendously the amount of play.
Right.
Then again the following year, and now this year we've had the largest number of increases in both of our
Right. Which
golf
is great.
courses. Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's a great activity. Some people
Sure.
like to ride carts, some people like to walk.
Right,
So
right.
it's really nice they're outside, but we also are trying to maintain our golf courses
Sure.
to make sure that our golfers are happy with them.
Right. You want to
So
keep the popularity
it is.
there.
So it's an ongoing situation, but we're doing everything we possibly can to make sure that our courses are in good shape.
And we're going to actually take a quick break.
Okay.
And we're going to be right back here on Ocean County Focus.
Ocean County. Experience the good life. The The Ocean County Board of Commissioners, working to make Ocean County a better place to call home, and a special place to visit. Ocean County. Experience the good life. The Ocean County Board of Commissioners, working to make Ocean County a better place to call home, and a special place to visit.
Welcome back to Ocean County Focus. Joining me today is Ocean County Commissioner Virginia Haines. She serves as chairwoman to the Ocean County Department of Parks and Recreation. In the first segment, we were chatting about, new equipment and to playgrounds and work being done on the golf courses and stuff. But as we move into fall, I mean, certainly there were a ton of summer programs through your recreation department, which is truly the best in the state. Now you're moving into fall, and it's festival season. And I wanted to just talk to you briefly about some of the festivals that we have coming up in the Parks Department. The first one, of course, is the Decoy and Gunning Show. It's now in its 41st year. What's the significance of this show?
Just to talk about, I mean, it's just that, first of all, the Parks Department never lets any moss grow under their feet.
That's for sure.
More or less,
That's
because
true.
they might go from spring to summer to fall and into winter, because there are programs where they're indoors or they're outside that are going. But the Decoy Show, what this is that this is it wasn't even, maybe it started as a hobby, the wood carvings and things like that, but it's turned into something that is an art that is sort of dwindling.
Right.
But what we're trying to do is to keep it going.
Sure.
And of course, this, as you said, it's the 41st Decoy Show that they're having, and I'm looking forward to it because they're going to be having some new things down there, which I've been told that's going to be happening. I think it's the 24th and 25th, 23rd and 24th.
23rd and 24th of September, yes.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Of course, then we do the awards on Sunday because we have some very young people that have been winning awards, which is really nice to see. But it's really something for everyone when you go down there, because the one thing I love is when they have the, usually they're Labradors that they jump and they have to go and catch something, ring the bell, whatever the thing is. And it's just to see these animals. And then they have others where you see wood carvers, they're doing certain things to show people what they have. And then over in the community center at Seaman Park, you'll go and see, like, there'll be different people that have been in a photo contest. And you'll see different photos that people have taken. Then you go to where you have another tent that might have, that they're selling the kayaks or canoes or just the materials that you need to do wood carving. And I mean, then they have skeet shooting, and then they have different things that it's just a continuous 2 full days of just enjoyment. And no matter where you go, where you turn to go look, there's something that's going on. Of course, they also sell products, and they also sell food. So there's a lot of good food that's always at the Decoy Show, but it gets packed.
Yes.
And they do provide buses because there's not enough parking, so they're able to park at other areas, and then they're bussed over by shuttle, to Tucking and Tip Seamans.
And the show is actually, it's kind of straddles both Tip Seaman County Park and then the seaport right across the street, which was really, it's probably been a number of years now that was added on. One of the significant parts of this, of course, is the fact that it really helps to keep the heritage of Barnegat Bay alive. Why is that so important?
Because if you have to go back and look at the history within Ocean County, and as I've said the other day, in 1950 there were 50,000 people that lived in Ocean County. So let's go back to 1900. Let's go back to the 1800s. I mean, people were out on the waters in the sneak boxes. They were doing duck hunting. They were, and they were carving the ducks that would go in the water, when they were trying to attract the live ducks. And it was something that was always done because they didn't have TV, they didn't have radio in the early days, of course, and it's just something that they did. And it became something that, that became competition between those that were living, because the Barnegat Bay just has a lot of history. And this is something that we're trying to preserve that history and to continue it and let the young people of today to go and see what it is like. And many, I'm seeing every time I go down, you're seeing more and more younger people being involved with it, whether it's in the skeet shooting contest, as I said before, or wood carving. And the classes they give and things, and it's just an exciting 2 days. When we get people not only from Ocean County, but we get people from all over New Jersey that are involved in this. But most of it's in the southern, part of the state. But we do get people from all over that come to see it. But then we also get a lot of the people that have been involved in this type of wood carvings or the boats that they, the sneak boxes and things like that they use. So
it's a wonderful festival. I mean, I think it's a lot of people that are, well, I know that even your staff at the Parks Department, a lot of them have been there all 41 years.
Yes, they have.
I mean, and that in itself, I think that brings a lot of value to a festival like this, or to a particular event like this.
Well, Mary Jane Bavay, who is our deputy director, she is the one that designs the pins that are giving out every single year. And it's usually a duck sign that's on it. But I mean, seriously, I mean, we have such talent in Ocean County, whether they work for the county or they're it's something else that other areas that they're working. But we have a great number of people that are extremely talented that contribute to this. And some of the artwork that people have done, because you'll also see artwork down there depicting. Maybe it might be birds in flight that are ducks taking off, or dogs that are going and they went out there and got the duck. They retrieved the duck that had been shot and they're bringing it in. And it's just so every little aspect in a sense is really touched, whether it's between art or skeet shooting or wood carving or the sneak boxes or the kayaks, whatever it is, there's something for everybody.
Now, and one of the really nice things about this too is that it's free. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
The entrance is free.
Is free.
Which is
the only
nice.
thing you spend is if you're going to buy something to eat or drink, or you see something, you might see a painting that somebody did that reminds you of maybe your childhood, or you knew someone that was very involved in decoys and things like that, or something you just might like, you know, or they have hunting knives, they have books on things. So I mean, there's just so much information there, and little decoys that little ducks that people have carved and things. And it's just a lot of things you can do, but it is free. It doesn't cost anything. You could go there and not spend a dime, and that's okay. But you can walk around enjoying everything that's there to offer.
We're gonna move up a little bit later into October, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the Pine Barrens Jamboree. That's a lot of music for a great day. Tell me a little bit about that.
Another thing is, and that's going to be October 14th in Wells Mills County Park, which is a very large park. And if anyone goes to look at the research Ocean County's history, the Pine Barrens has a tremendous amount of history. And if they know anything about Albert Hall, we will see, which is in Waretown, which is near Wells Mills, which they will have, a lot of the type of instruments that they use. And when they have these jamborees, and you're going to see people come out that have been playing instruments that were played 100 years ago. And then everybody just comes there. They can bring their chair and they can listen. And again, they just have everything for everybody. And it's just something that we have that, that is going on.
No, it sounds like a great day. And we're actually going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back here on Ocean County Focus.
When it comes to getting around Ocean County, Ocean Ride is ready to serve you. Hi, I'm Freeholder Gary Quinn. Ocean Ride is a service of the Ocean County Board of Chosen Freeholders that provides a host of transportation alternatives to Ocean County residents. If you need to get to a doctor, if you want to take a trip to the shopping mall, or if you rely on public transportation to get to work, we have the solution for you. For more information on Ocean Ride services and bus schedules, call 732-736-8989 extension 4 or visit our website. Try Ocean Ride. We'll get you where you need to go.
Ocean County. Experience the good life. The Ocean County Board of Commissioners, working to make Ocean County a better place to call home, and a special place to visit. Ocean County. Experience the good life. The Ocean County Board of Commissioners, working to make Ocean County a better place to call home, and a special place to visit.
And welcome back to Ocean County Focus. Commissioner, we were talking earlier about the plethora, really, or a number of festivals that are now coming up into the fall and to the winter months, through the Ocean County Department of Parks and Recreation. And where can people go to get this information first?
Well, it's very easy. I mean, you could go to the website. You could number one, go to Ocean County government, and then you can click on parks, or you can go to Ocean County Parks, and you can click on, and it gives a whole list of lists all of the parks that we have. Then it lists all the programs that we're doing, whether it's an in-house program or something they're doing outside. It has all the information there for when all of these events that we have that is set up now through the end of the year, close to the end of the year, that they're doing. And it's just very easy. Plus, we also have the magazine.
A newsletter, yes, the newsletter.
A newsletter is more or less, but it lists all the programs that we have, and that's usually in all of our libraries. It's in a lot of other public places that people allow us to put them in, that they can get in. It talks about all the programs that we have, whether it's somebody learning how to weave a basket, or floral arrangements, or whatever it might be. But it's all in that. As I said, just if they have a computer, or if they want to go, if they go to the library, and of course they also would be able to pick up a copy of the Decoy Show, and then Out and About, which is another magazine that is put out by Culture and Heritage.
And actually, great segue. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about cultural and heritage, because I know you serve as liaison to that. And one of the projects that is currently underway, that I think will have a lot of benefits to people using the rail trail, is the restoration of the Cox House in Barnegat Township, a historic house.
It is.
That's now being restored by Ocean County. Tell me a little bit about that project.
Well, we're very, very fortunate. This was Captain Billy Cox. He was a longtime person that was from Barnegat, and he was Captain Billy, so he had a boat, and things. But anyway, the house is historic, and we've been very, very lucky. I think we received approximately $1.5 million in grants that we received from New Jersey. I think it was Council on the Arts, to help refurbish, because it's not just hire a contractor to go and fix something. We had to have, when we redid the roof, we had to have specific contractor that could do the roof that was specific to the period of that, when that house was built. And that was done. Then we had some asbestos that needed to be removed, and some mold, which that was done. Now plus we hired an architect who is specific with regards to the geographic time, with a period of when all this is, because everything has to be done. We just can't pick any architect. They have to really know what they're doing for that period of what we're doing. And of course, we're going to be redoing the inside of the Cox House, as well as what needs to be done on the outside. Then there is a barn that is there that will be redone. And fortunately for us, that's where the Barnegat Branch Trail starts. So once everything is all done, we will be utilizing the Cox House for a place for people to start. Inside, it'll be open. I think it's hoping to be open 7 days a week. Well, people will be able to go in to get information about the Barnegat Branch Trail, as well as every other aspect of our county parks will be in there. There'll be somebody there to be able to, talk to them about it, and things like that. But the Barnegat Branch Trail goes there, and then it goes on up through Barnegat, on to Waretown, and into Lacey, and then there's a little connection that we still have to fix, and then that goes on into Lacey, into Berkeley, and then in Berkeley into Beechwood, and all that. I think right now we're all the way up to South Toms River. There's still small connections that have to be improved, but it's expanding all the time. But it all starts right there, right by the Cox House.
And again, you know, when we're looking, there's so many historical parts to all of this. You have the Cox House, which is a historical house, and I don't know if a lot of people realize, but the Barnegat Branch Trail is really a historical trail also, because it really follows the, I believe, Central Jersey Railroad.
Yes, it does.
And
yes.
you're talking about being able to walk almost 15 consecutive miles once it's all complete.
Yes.
What sort of benefits does that bring with it?
Well, first of all, people like to go out and number one, people just like to walk.
Right.
So that's one. Number two, there's a lot of people that just like to go out and just walk with nature.
Right.
And then a lot of them just like to walk because they might also want to do photography.
Right.
Because they might walk along and they might just go to a specific spot and things like that, because there is so much, you know, for people to see. And the one good thing that I like is that I get a lot of emails where people saying, like, just to let you know, I walked the Barnegat Branch Trail and there's a tree limb that came down.
Right.
Which we look forward to people letting us know
Sure,
this. Because
sure.
our staff is out there.
Right.
But it could happen over a Sunday night.
Right.
And then believe me, people are letting us know right away. Or if they say that we had a bad rainstorm and something has happened. And so we go there to make sure it's fixed, because it's very important to make sure that that trail is accessible for everybody.
Sure.
Whether they're, you know, walking or running. And of course, sometimes you'll have parents with their children riding
Right.
bikes. So
Right.
we've got to make sure that the surface is going to be in good shape for them to do all this.
It really is one of those beautiful, you know,
especially in the fall.
assets. Yeah, assets within Ocean County that really, like I said, I think a lot of people walk it, but maybe not realize, you know, just the significance of the history with it. And I know that the county really has made an effort to make sure that people can tap into the history as they go by various trailheads, and they'll find information. Is that
Exactly.
something that, you know, that's something that's out there for them? Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, because that's what we're trying to do. I mean, we try to make sure that the areas are marked so that people will know history of what Ocean County. People don't realize it. I mean, just the history that was done here. You have Huddy Park, and
Right.
you had Captain Joshua Huddy, who that fought during the Revolutionary War. That was here in Toms River. And then you go to which another place we have is Cedar Bridge Tavern,
Right.
which was totally redone. Fortunately, we did get some grants, you know, from the state with on that, because that supposedly is the last skirmish of the Revolution
Right.
that was done, and that's
Right.
also in Barnegat, which people can go to anytime that they want. I mean, it's open, I think, most of the days. I'm going
Right.
to say at least 5 days a week, and sometimes they have school groups that go there, and it's sort of like, I could explain, it's like off of 72 on Old
Right.
Halfway Road is
Right.
where you have to go down. But it's very educational. You go in, there's usually someone there that will explain to them the history. And of course, they try to make it and bring it back to exactly how it was at that time.
Right. And really, we're going to start to wrap up, but I wanted you to mention about the activities leading up to the 250th
Yes.
anniversary of the Revolutionary War.
Yes, we have been doing this for the last several years. Tim Hart, who is head of Cultural and Heritage for the county, he also is in charge of the 250th anniversary. And of course, that will be in 2026. So this November 8th at 11 a.m. at the original Ocean County Courthouse, Courtroom 1, there will be another ceremony leading up to this. And what it is, they go over certain things, and it's just talk about certain things. And I will be participating in this under two hats. One, because I'm a commissioner with Culture and Heritage and for the County of Ocean, and also because I'm the regent for the Captain Joshua Huddy chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, which we're also have a program that we're doing, which is called America 250.
Okay.
So I mean, it's something, and of course we want Americans to recognize, you know, that this is what a great country we have,
Right.
and that we're going to be celebrating this great country. And one little last thing I would like to mention is that the Constitution Week is September 17th to 23rd, and a lot of people don't realize that it's the President of the United States signs a proclamation every single year,
Right.
stating that those dates is Constitution Week. And I think it's just as important now as it was in years past
Sure.
about our Constitution, for people to remember what a great country we have and what our freedoms are, and that we want to continue to preserve those.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, for joining us today. And thank you for joining us here on Ocean County Focus. Have a great day.